Welcome back to another episode of Kwane. What the
Jeremiah endimthandayo. Ukuba ufunda le ncwadi, loo nto ithetha ukuba andisekho emhlabeni. Ungunyana wam wokugqibela. Loo nto ithetha ukuba uyindlalifa yam, kwaye uza kuthatha yonke imisebenzi yam yokuba ngumposi. Uyayazi ukuba bendihambisa incwadi. Kodwa into obungayaziyo kukuba kutheni ezi ncwadi zibaluleke kangaka. Ngenxa yengcinezelo yobuhlanga, abantu abaninzi baye bawashiya amakhaya abo bayokuba yinxalenye yomkhondo wesizwe elubhacweni, ngoxa ixenye yabantu yabalekela izimele kwamazwe angaphandle. Abashiyekayo babanjwa baphoswa ezintolongweni zoburhulumente. Bonke aba bantu babhalela amakhaya, abanye babhalela ukunika ithemba kwabo bashiyeke emakhaya. Bambi babhala belumkisa ngentlaselo ezizayo, kuba urhulumente ebhekisela yonke into. Ezi ncwadi ziyanyetyeleziswa zingeniswe apha ekhaya eMzantsi. Zakufika zithunyelwa kum ukuba ndizihambise ndizise kubaninizo iincwadi ezinestampu esibomvu. Ezi ncwadi zezokulumkisa. Zithathe uzise kuThomas elokishini. Ezinye ke iincwadi zezizisa ithemba ebantwini bazo. Ezo ke zisekudilesi ezibhalweyo apha. Jeremiah, lo kumsebenzi obaluleke kakhulu ukuba uwenze. Kukho abantu abaxhomekeke kuwo, ngoku kufuneka ucinge ngabo. Ndiyakuthanda. Ndim utata wakho.
Welcome back to another episode of Kwane's Poetic License. It's your boy Kwane, aka Bafana Nyandini. Thank you so much for tuning into this yet another episode. This is a special one. I know we do all things poetry, but I have a great brother of mine. He's more than just a friend here. This is a great brother of mine. An award-winning filmmaker is in the building. Yo, Africa, how are you, bro?
I'm well, man. I'm well, man. You make it sound so prestigious.
It is.
Award-winning.
Like, guys.
It's just an award, bro.
No, it's not. Guys, this is...
It's just one big one.
Yeah, true, man.
Yeah, it's one big
huge,
one.
Man.
It's one big one.
Thank you so much for honoring this invitation and for...
No, most definitely.
Doing
Most
this
definitely.
honor.
Most
Yeah,
definitely.
man.
You know I'm a brother. I've always supported everything that you do.
Yeah.
You know, and you've always vice versa. You know,
Yeah,
you've
man.
always supported everything I do. So I belong here.
True. He
One
really
love.
does.
One love.
He really does. He was actually supposed to be on the first episode, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Save the best for last.
Save the best for last,
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
so for the people who might not know who you are, do you mind doing like young intro and telling them who VusiAfrica is? Because I know VusiAfrica, but they might not know yet. They might not know yet.
Of course, man. I think people that know me are people who work within the film and television space, especially producers, directors, writers. I think those are the people that might be familiar with my work. If you don't know me, my name is VusiAfrica. And yeah, man, as Kwane said, you know, he's my boy. We come back home together in Witbank, Malahleni, Hlalangahle Extension 1, Kamshazafe. To beat him together. You know, and I'm a filmmaker by profession, and I work as an independent filmmaker. When I say independent filmmaker, I mean that there's no white person behind me helping me to make films. I'm making
Yes,
them
sir.
on my own, you know, and I own everything that I put out there in the world. So basically, I control the process from development up until the sales part.
Wow.
So that's why I say I'm an independent
Oh, you're not
filmmaker.
just-
I
not
think
just
it's
a-
very important
not
to
just
say.
a
Yeah, I'm not just a
title.
filmmaker. I don't work
Oh.
for Mnet, SABC, or anybody.
Oh.
I work for myself.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So this is a poetry show. Are you a poet? Because I heard filmmaker. You're a filmmaker. You're a writer. You're a director. You're a producer.
It's good. It's good that you're asking me if you know if I'm a poet or not, because
Yeah.
I think you for one would know that my journey started as when I started out as a poet, and you know I grew so much in poetry.
I just remember.
You know, you remember the dumping
Yeah, the
side.
dumping
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
When
They
it's
say
first, bro.
freedom comes from within, beating your inner demons to achieve eternal liberation. You know, but those are the days, bro.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
those are the days, and I think I grew so much in poetry.
Yeah.
You know, I grew so much within my own space. You know, but for me, it always felt like there was something more out there that that my poetic voice could achieve. And I mean, I started exploring with theater between you'd remember at some stage I took one of my plays to the National School of the Arts.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know, and I did a show. I did a show at the Civic Theatre. You know, where I staged the chair and One Man's Garden. I later on did the key. You know, so I've been a lover of telling stories in different forms, and I think it became film became my poetic device when I actually realized that there was more power to visuals and words, you know,
so,
and
yeah.
combined together, you know, because my work in itself, you know, in the film space is a work of poetry. You know, I don't consider my films to just be films.
No, they're
you
not.
know, and you know they exist there, you know, within a space that lends them as entities, as creative entities that seek to inform, educate, entertain, inspire. You know, so it is poetry, because I mean at the end of the day that's what poetry is there for.
That's
you
true,
know?
man. That's
So it just comes in a broader space.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of your films, so I know exactly. Like when I talk about the Galgral and the Numbers Game, those were just poetry in visual
Yeah,
form. So
yeah.
so that's true. So guys, we have a treat today. VusiAfrica agreed. Okay, background. VusiAfrica just won an award for his upcoming movie or film called Letters of Hope, and within this film there are beautiful, beautiful letters that the whole film is based on. So VusiAfrica has agreed, you know, to let us peek into this whole film.
Yeah, sneak peek.
Just a sneak peek before it comes out nationally next year throughout South Africa. So I know you've chosen like a couple of letters that you want us to go through and to find the poetic influence in those
Within the
letters,
film, yeah,
within
most
the film.
definitely. I think when we were writing the film, myself and the lady, the basic concept was to draw people into experiencing a different kind of the South African story, you know, the South African protest story. You know, we've always seen it from Mandela's perspective. You know, we've once seen it from Steve Biko's perspective. You know, we've seen it from the perspective of, you know, iconic icons. You know, the Mandelas of this world. But we've never seen it from a perspective of an ordinary young person, you know, young teenager growing up in South Africa at the time. What challenges did they have to face, you know? And his struggle comes in the form of letters. He has to deliver these letters, and because he has to deliver these letters, at some stage, I mean, he himself has to come to an understanding of what these letters are about, you know, and the instructions from his father come through a letter, you know. So it's just a whole there's a lot of embodiment of writing, you know, within the film. There's a lot of writing happening in the film. There's a lot of poetic nuances, you know, the letters being read. I think that's, you know, it's very, very poetic. So in the film, basically, we deal with specifically loved ones who have left South Africa and are in exile, and they write back home, you know. And at some stage, some of those letters are being read in the film, and you know, we get to experience what they're experiencing outside the country. Or they give us a glimpse, let me rather say so, of what is happening outside the country. It's like one of the letters that is being read in the opening scene of the film, and this brother, he's speaking to his wife, and he's been away from home for so long, and the wife is left home. She doesn't have answers as to where is my loved one, where has he gone to, and he writes this letter, and this letter explains that he has been detained in Bethel, and those who are politically inclined, or those who understand the political history of South Africa within the historic context, will understand the role that Bethel played within the democratic struggle. And there were the black cats in Bethel. Bethel was very, very active. There were a lot of black people were detained in Bethel, because of how close Bethel is to Piet Retief, linking you to the KZN side, that whole IFP-ANC struggle, black on black violence. So there's some of those nuances in the film, that you get to experience.
That are from those exact letters.
Yes. Not exact letters, because the film is based on real events showcase. It's a story that happened.
Yeah.
But the letters have been in a way fictionalized. We had to rewrite the whole story, because we're not telling the story from the perspective of where we had the story. We are telling the story from our own perspective. I think that's the cinematic part about it. Owning up to the narrative.
Yeah. That's just beautiful, man. So, do you feel like these letters, particularly these two that we're doing here today, do you feel like they carried the message? They carried the message of what the film was about. How the victims of exile and were actually impacted by the acts of apartheid and all those struggles.
I think the letters are the core of the film.
Yeah.
They are the building blocks. They are the fundamentals of what formulates the story. If I can put it bluntly, I can say the letters are the heart of the film. They are the soul of the film. That is where we get to have an understanding of a story that can be told by the owner, but somebody else has to read it to the person receiving it. Because remember, at the time, some of the people were illiterate, so the letters had to be read to them because they couldn't read for themselves. Because the apartheid laws were very cruel to black people, very, very cruel to black people. At that time, very few people managed to complete school. A lot of people would drop out, have to go work, and they can't read. So here's this piece of poetic device that is being used in the film, and somebody has to read it to them. So it's more like a moment of when the poet takes on the microphone and delivers the message to the people. So exactly, and everybody in the auditorium or everybody in the cinema bears witness to what the writer or the author, is delivering from the perspective of the filmmaker, of course.
Wow. That's you. That paints so much a picture of what poetry can do in the entire art.
Exactly. Because it would be very, very naive of us to believe that poetry is one form. And it would be actually short-selling the art form. It's one of the oldest art forms in the world, if not the oldest art form in the world. So we'd be selling it very short if we were to say poetry is weight, and that's the end of it. Ends there. It's actually an incorrect interpretation, or rather, let me say so. The correct interpretation would be for us to open our minds, and I think that's what made people fall in love with the film Letters of Hope in Durban. It was because there was this poetic element to it, and people are like, whoa, okay, and I think because of the fact that the lady herself is a poet. I mean, she comes from a poetic background.
Yeah.
At some stage of her life, she was doing a show with Mnet long time ago, before some of us at DSTV, where she was doing poetry,
Oh, so both of you guys, like, were writing this.
Exactly.
You both come from
exactly.
a poetic background.
Both authors of the film, we were coming from a poetic background, So we met each other in a mutual place where we had a clear understanding of what it is that we wanted to achieve. Because when we started writing the story, the rules were setting themselves. Because the film title was Letters of Hope. So already we knew it was going to be poetic. It was going to be emotional. It was going to be heartfelt. It was going to be passionate. And love stories. There's so many love stories in the film.
Yeah, and you guys definitely see that when you watch it. Right? Moving on to now the second letter, because you covered that introduction letter.
Yes.
Now the second letter, can you just explain now what's happening in this letter now? What prompts this letter to be delivered and what prompts it to be delivered?
I think the second letter is about passing on the baton, And when I say it's about passing on the baton, I mean it's about passing on the baton in the regard that Jeremiah is in one position when he receives the call to action, or when his father dies, let me say so. And his dream of wanting to become a policeman. And his father always wanted to tell him reasons of him not to become a policeman, but he never got that opportunity, So the second letter becomes the opportunity for the father to have the last word with him. It's the final conversation between son and father. It's a final message of love. It's a final message about trust. And it's a final message about assurance, that you can do this, you are good enough, you are brave, and I trust you and I believe in you. And you are intelligent beyond your own expectations, It's about passing on history, from one generation to the other, because we know in that time, black people didn't have land to inherit. They didn't have homes to inherit, We only inherited whatever it is that our parents left us. You understand what I'm saying? So this boy, in this case, Jeremiah, in this sense, he's getting this letter as an inheritance from his father. Says, this is the last thing that your father left. And it's this piece of letter. And this letter is left for you.
So that's the last thing he cares.
And that's the last thing he has from his father. It's a letter. And this letter is commanding him into a position that makes him uncomfortable, where he even questions his own safety. Will I survive? Will I be alive? If I listen to what the letter is saying, will I live to see the next day?
Oh, wow. Oh, so I can already feel the emotion coming from
Yeah.
just the letter enveloping into the whole.
Exactly,
That's beautiful, bro. Okay, we've covered the two letters. My one question now to you is, having conceptualized first before you even started to write this film and these letters, do you feel now that people have seen it and that people are starting to consume it, do you feel like whatever message you had and whatever picture you wanted to portray through these letters and through this film as a whole, is that message is going
It's
to
coming across?
Yeah. Let me rephrase it. From you seeing the final product now, not from
Yes.
people, from you seeing the product, do you feel like the conceptualization of the letters and the idea, do you feel like it depicts, do you feel like you achieve what you wanted to achieve, artistically?
I can't judge myself as an artist.
You can't.
I can't, because the work is very personal.
Yeah.
The work is very, very personal to me. Because we stumbled into a research in about between 2010, 11, 12. And started working on the concept between 2013. So if you start counting, that's like 10 years of my life.
Of work.
That's 10 years, because we're in 2019 now. The film is coming out in 2020. So that's like 10 years of my life. So I've been involved in every step of the process. Obviously, there's been people who came in, people, but personally, me myself as Vusi'Africa, I've been in the journey of Letters of Hope since its inception as a concept. So for me to say people are going to receive it well, or people won't receive it well, it will be totally based on my
all that
general
work.
experience
Oh, yeah.
and the pain, that I endured, the tears, the sweating that I endured making the film. So I think once people get to see the film and I get a sense of the conversation the film is creating, I think from the Durban International Film Festival and the success that the film had there, I could in a way also get a glimpse of how will the country receive the film. The intellectuals received it very well because it's high up there, it's very smart, but more than anything else, how will my actual audience, the people at home,
the one you made it for,
the people at home who tune into Generations at 8, how will they receive the film? I think that I will have to wait and see.
So that will actually tell you how.
Exactly. Exactly.
So would you say that's now is your biggest hope with the product finish?
I think my biggest hope is for me to at least show it to them.
Yeah.
If I can just at least show it to them. Whether be at schools or be at halls, be at the cinema, be in the streets, be at film festivals, just the opportunity to show people the film. It doesn't matter because it doesn't matter where this film is being played. Like, honestly, we can literally play this film at a tavern. As long as people are getting an opportunity to see the film, of which why was the film made, was for people to see it. So I think once we get that opportunity, and especially when we now start traveling, because more than anything else, I'm very personal with the film. I want to take it to everybody. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to take the film to everybody. In Tembisa, Alexandra, in Tlalanga, Akaville, Wakuka, Middleburg, Gwalanga, Kukuletu, Mtanzane, everywhere in South Africa, where people can have an opportunity to see the film, And if people get to see the film for free, I'd be very happy because then a lot of people will get to see the film. So, so we'll just see as to how does God position us, and how does the corporate world position us, and how does government come into play. It's just a matter of all these factors, playing all different keys to make one melody.
Oh, it's beautiful. And that's a beautiful sentiment too, because I believe that an artist, it's a very great tragedy for an artist not to be able to share his way.
Exactly.
We can't always be better.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
So,
exactly. And the film has been seen by intellectuals. Only the directors, the producers, the journalists, the scholars. They are the only ones who know about the film, and that is not the purpose of why this film was made. This film is about the people of Mpumalanga specifically, because the story is set in Mpumalanga. So this film is about the people of Mpumalanga, and how they survived during the trying times of apartheid, and how they sent messages of hope to one another. In a time where we live in a hopeless country, where we have a hopeless ANC. This film reminds us of an ANC that was once full of hope.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. Guys, check out the trailer and be ready for the film that's coming out next year. Africa, thank you so much for honoring this invitation. Do you have any last word on your work, on your upcoming work, or on the film itself?
Upcoming, let the work speak for itself, bro. Let the work speak for itself. I'm not gonna speculate on what I'm working on next, but y'all are gonna find out. Y'all are gonna find out. But yeah, most definitely thank you for having me, bro. It's always a pleasure. We share this type of conversations all the time.
This,
where we sit and we discuss the atmosphere in the world.
Yeah, this is just an extension, guys. This happens.
This is all the time, bro. We're always engaging all the time. So, but yeah, thank you for the opportunity, bro. Thank you so much.
And then for your contacts, your socials, because now we need social media.
It's at VusiAfrica, bro. You know what I'm saying.
At VusiAfrica.
You know what I'm saying.
Follow him.
Honestly, there's only one VusiAfrica in the country as a filmmaker. Don't try me.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, love weight, love people. Peace.
Lemeni ngikhumbuza unyaka utata amaduka ngayajabu naye.
The warning letter, man.
Utata kuba mbulalela nje into ba nginika abantu ithemba. Loo nto nje iyodwa ibonisa uba sibaluleke kanjani izoletha. Tata